Ladies and gents, we are back with another Nottingham Forest Scout Report, and let me talk to you about Anthony Elanga. The 21-year-old Swedish winger is apparently on the verge of joining Nottingham Forest this summer from Manchester United, and I wanted to spend some time in this video discussing the player. Of course, if you're new around here, in these Scout Reports we spend some time dissecting the player, providing some context to their career thus far, discussing whether they're a good player or not, and overall whether I think they're going to be a good fit for this Nottingham Forest side. So if you do enjoy that kind of stuff, don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a single Scout Report. With that being said, let's start our discussion on Anthony Elanga. Anthony David Jr. Elanga was born in April of 2002 in the southern Swedish city of Malmo and would move across to the United Kingdom at the age of 12, settling in Manchester. And in 2014, Manchester United would fend off competition from their cross-city rivals to snap up the young Swedish winger, with him eventually signing an academy scholarship at the age of 16 in 2018. And after shining in the academy and winning the team's Young Player of the Year award, Elanga would begin making appearances for the first team during the pre-season build-up to the 2020-21 season, with those performances earning himself a brand new bumper contract. He would, however, have to be patient in terms of getting opportunities in the Premier League. He wouldn't actually make his debut in the competition until the following May against Leicester City, scoring his first goal for the club in a win against Wolves on the final day of the 2020-21 Premier League season, which set him up very nicely to break through into the first team the following campaign. And break through into the first team he would. Elanga would register 21 Premier League appearances in the following campaign, netting twice and assisting on over 2 goals in a season that was stop and start for Manchester United, a poor start to the season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, somewhat rescued under Ralf Rangnick, who particularly liked Elanga. He liked his energy off the ball, he liked his hard work and the energy that he possessed in the team. However, last season, following the appointment of the Dutchman Erik ten Hag, Anthony Elanga would find opportunities in the first team for Manchester United pretty hard to come by, getting just 5 starts in the league and registering just 400 minutes over the course of the Premier League season. His numbers, however, from his breakout campaign certainly suggest there is a talented player there and someone who could offer something to this Nottingham Forest side, with him particularly excelling in ball carrying and his work off the ball. Elanga's carries into the final third for Manchester United during that breakout campaign were around 2 per 90 minutes, which would put him second in the Nottingham Forest squad last season behind just Morgan Gibbs-White, whilst his progressive carries would only be beaten by 2 Nottingham Forest players this season, suggesting he can add some progression from deep positions, getting us into potent attacking positions would he join. And off the ball, Elanga is also a great asset, completing around 2.5 tackles and interceptions per 90 during his breakout campaign for Manchester United, which would put him in the top 20% of wingers in Europe at the time, and he completes a very impressive 57% of his aerial duels, again ranking very highly amongst European wingers, suggesting he's not just a threat in our attacking box, but defensively could be a great asset to us. The issue is that's all you really get from Elanga. He's not a player who passes with much intent, you don't get a lot of chance creation out of the winger, and he's not someone who's a massive threat in the box in terms of scoring goals and creating opportunities, and that does somewhat limit his usefulness to a side like Nottingham Forest, who need to maximise the opportunities they do get on the ball. So with that in mind, let's transition over to the tactics board and discuss in a bit of detail how he's actually going to fit into this Nottingham Forest side. So of course, here's the usual spiel. We've got Forest up on the board in the 3-5-2 formation that I think the squad is probably most familiar with under Steve Cooper, and we're going to try and fit Elanga into this squad and figure out where he will fit in best. So by his own admission, Elanga is a player who wants to be on the left-hand side of the attack, coming in on that dangerous right foot, creating opportunities for his teammates and scoring goals for himself. So without us really playing any natural wingers in this team, with Gibbs-White sitting in behind Johnson and Awoniyi as split strikers, it'll be interesting to see if Cooper maybe tweaks tactically the approach from last season, maybe going for a more conventional 3-4-3 formation in which Elanga in attacking positions is able to come inside onto that right foot and, like I say, create chances and get opportunities for himself. Of course, there are also opportunities for us to shift to a more conventional formation. At times last season we were playing a 4-4-2 diamond or a 4-2-3-1 depending on the situation, and there could be a home for him on the left side of the attack with Morgan Gibbs-White in the hole at 10 alongside Brennan Johnson and Taiwo Awoniyi. Now, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter banding that formation around, and personally for me, I don't think we have the personnel to play a back four and two in midfield. I don't think we have enough energy or enough defensive cover in the midfield at the moment. If we were to sign someone like Ibrahim Sangre in that position, things could potentially change long term, but at the moment I don't quite think we have the personnel to suit a four at the back with a two in midfield formation, committing four men forward on the attack. Of course though, we do have that 5-2-2-1 shape that we were kind of using towards the back end of the season that feels like something that Cooper seems to be settling on. It seemed to get the best out of the personnel that we had available, sometimes adding someone like Danilo into that front line to add some energy and defensive coverage. It could be a way we could approach games, and Elanga of course could play on the left hand side of that. He's energetic, I'm sure he would be very good coming back and covering defensively, and I think in the final third when the opposition has possession of the ball, it's trying to play out from the back, I think a player like him could really suit trying to press her in the front. I think would add some energy to that front line. The thing is, if we're only really committing to 3 attacking players in this team, it feels like those 3 basically pick themselves. Taiwo Awoniyi leading the line, who had a really great finish to the Premier League season. Gibbs-White, of course, who was basically our player of the season, the man probably single-handedly responsible for keeping us in the league. And Brennan Johnson, who, whilst I think had quite an overrated season in terms of the team we have, is still a very solid Premier League player who was very good for spells, particularly in that middle stretch of the Premier League season, and it doesn't really leave a lot of opportunities for Elanga as a starting player. So then the question becomes, is Elanga comfortable maybe coming off the bench and replacing players like Gibbs-White and Brennan Johnson as they tire in the match? That could be an opportunity for him, but is he happy to do that in a lower end mid-table Premier League side when he wants to be leaving Manchester United to be essentially a guaranteed starter wherever he lands? Or could we be seeing a more long-term solution to the problem in the sense of a shift from a back 3/back 5 to a back 4, which allows us to commit more personnel forward, allowing players like Elanga to come in off that left hand side and Gibbs-White to operate in more central positions, probably where he's more comfortable. Of course though, that's going to require us to recruit midfielders who are comfortable sitting in a midfield too, and like I said, players like Sangre have been linked to us could do that, but I don't personally think at the moment we have the personnel to develop that system with a back 4. So overall, I think depending on your perspective, I think the signing of Anthony Elanga is pretty fine. I think he qualifies for the homegrown quota, which is a positive. He's also very young and actually got some good experience at Manchester United when he was afforded opportunities, and his strengths are definitely ball carrying and work off the ball, which I think will suit this Nottingham Forest system, especially if we play like we did last season. However, for me, I think the negatives neutralise or maybe even outweigh the positives that are offered by someone like Elanga. I think he's a very one-dimensional player, someone who can only really play off the left or off the right as a winger, which is not really the kind of shape we've used for the majority of our time under Steve Cooper. And like I say, that one-dimensionalness, that ability to only really ball carry and do the defensive work. He's not a massive creator, he's not a massive player in terms of getting shots in the box and creating opportunities for himself. And I think when you're paying £15 million, which is the rumoured fee for the completed deal, I think you'd expect a little bit more. And personally for me, I wouldn't have paid any more than maybe £10 million in the process. So in terms of a grade, I'm going to give this one a C. I don't think Elanga is a bad player by any stretch, and I think he'll be a useful squad option in this Forest side, but for £15 million, I'd maybe expect a little bit more, maybe a bit more pedigree, a bit more of a goal scoring ability, just an extra facet or two to his game rather than the ball carrying and the defensive work, which aren't exactly massive off the chart numbers. Of course though, let me know your thoughts on Anthony Elanga in that comment section down below. I'll be curious to know about this one. This one's polarising people on Twitter, and it seems to be quite a controversial deal from Nottingham Forest. So answers as always in that comment section down below. And whilst you're down there, don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you can stay up to date with the Nottingham Forest Scout Reports. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and your week, Reds. I will catch you later.